All right, so I've been in Dubai now for 2 months. So I thought I'd do a bit of an update on how I'm finding things. Firstly, from a personal point of view, and then secondly, from a business point of view as well. And I'm going to start with a personal first and foremost, because I think from a personal point of view, there's quite a bit to report in terms of observations anyway. And I think the first one is this. People often talk about Dubai and the safety that you feel here, the security that you feel here. And I cannot but agree wholeheartedly with the sense of security that you feel here. And it's very, very strange because obviously I'm on social media. So every time I go onto social media or I'm on Facebook, for example, I can't help but notice crazy headlines from back home. You know, a kid being stabbed or a guy blowing up his house because he's tampered with the gas supply intentionally. All kinds of like crazy, crazy stuff. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, is it because I'm now out of the environment that I'm kind of like, I'm not desensitized to it? Because that's what I generally feel happens sometimes. Because in the UK, yes, we see that all the time in the news, but because it's so popular, we just automatically become desensitized to it and it's not really a thing. Now it feels so weird hearing those kind of headlines because that just does not exist here in any way, shape or form. And just feeling safe, just being able to not have to look over your shoulder. I mean, I'm from London, right? I lived in London for a number of years, not before I moved here, obviously. I was living in Shropshire, but, you know, being mindful of, can I walk down the street in London with my phone in my hand and not get it snatched? And can I wear a nice watch in London? All those kind of things and worries, they don't exist here. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed. You can leave your car unlocked, you can leave things wherever, and no one's going to pick them up, no one's going to nick them. We were in a hospital this week, and I left my partner's phone and purse while she was seeing a consultation, and I was in the room with her, and I remembered like 20 minutes after that, ow, where's your phone and where's your wallet? Went back to where we were sitting, and it was still there. No one smugs you, no one steals, no one does anything at all, sorry. That's my first observation. Second observation from a personal point of view is how I feel personally every morning waking up. Now, obviously, nothing is perfect. And I have to keep stressing this, right? Because I'll talk about the pressure that comes with this, maybe a little bit later in the business section. But I feel so much better, so much more peaceful, so much more content waking up in the morning. And I'm going to put that down to the fact that the sun is always shining here. And that means that waking up in the morning, because it isn't grey, and trust me, it's a little bit overcast today, it isn't grey, it isn't raining, you just feel so much better. I feel so much better. I really, really do. I'm happier, I'm more content, and I don't think there's any amount of money that you could pay me to trade that at this point in time, at least. Third thing is an observation that I've made over the past 2 months, certainly over the last month, meeting people, kind of like networking and trying to expand what I do, right? And it's an observation that I've always been aware of and I'm always very, very hot on personally, but one that I found myself kind of like thinking, I'm like, oh, dude, snap out of this. And it's this. You really have to be comfortable, confident, and grounded in yourself in Dubai. It's known to be a place where there's a lot of opulence. People drive really nice cars, and I'm going to use cars as the example here. And if you're of a weaker or lesser mind, you could very, very easily find yourself in a position where you start to question what you're doing and why you're not driving the kind of cars that these people are driving. I mean, all you need to do is go to one of the malls here. It's mad. There is a lot of money. There is a lot of wealth here. And whilst it's good to take inspiration from those types of things, there is a difference between taking inspiration from it and putting yourself under pressure where you feel like you have to start keeping up with the Joneses. Two very, very different, but minimally distinctive mindsets and views to take. And I think that's really important to note here. I've been invited to a couple of events where, you know, I'm meeting people and I'm like, I'm rocking up in my MG7. And these dudes have got like really nice cars. And even I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, whoa, I don't want these guys to see me like jump in my MG7. I have to snap myself back out of this. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you have to be strong-minded out here. And yeah, use it for motivation. It inspires me for sure. I don't necessarily want a Lamborghini. I don't want a Ferrari. I couldn't care less. But you have to kind of be mentally strong out here, because otherwise you'll find yourself in a bit of a trap. Another observation that I've had here, and again, I'm a finance guy, right? So my main channel is all about money and finance and budgeting and investing and all this kind of stuff. But the cost of living, and I'm going to talk about the cost of food, and maybe it's just because we've fell into this lazy cycle of doing a lot of takeaways. And to be honest, out here, it is so easy to get food delivered to you. And because a lot of the produce are flown into Dubai, sometimes it's easier. You can eat out, you can have a takeaway cheaper than some of the meals that you could actually make here, depending on obviously what meal you actually want. And over the past kind of like 2 months, month specifically, I need to personally readdress my spending on things like takeouts. Me and the missus are very much focused on, like, we need to manage this a little bit more, because I'll tell you right now, what we spent on food and takeouts this past like month, it's crazy. So here are my observations from a business point of view. And the first thing that really stands out to me, having been here for a couple of months and kind of networking, is this is a very collaborative and encouraging environment in Dubai. And I know this will ruffle people's feathers up who are from the UK in business, but trust me, we don't have anything on the way things work here in terms of that collaborative, encouraging kind of like feel that you get from other business people. In the UK, there is still this element of crabs in a bucket, where yes, everyone likes a good idea, but do they really want to help you? Are they really wishing the best for you? Are they really going to put you in touch with the next step to make your idea, your dream a reality? Not really. I mean, look, everything's a competition, right? And competition is good, don't get me wrong. I'm a very competitive guy, but it's just not the same. And you have to be here to understand that. But also, and this is my second point, which kind of leads on from this last point, is that follow-up can be really, really difficult in Dubai. Now, someone said this to me last year when I was going back and forth, and I didn't quite understand what they meant. And believe me, I understand what they mean right now. And when I say follow-up is hard to come by, it could be the case that you went to a networking event on Wednesday, and you can call this person Thursday, and nothing, just ghost. And the reason for that is because, unfortunately, there's a lot of lip service here, number one. You gotta be real. This is a place where there's a lot of money sloshing around and people want to make money. So in networking events, a lot of the time it is about, what can you do for me? And people are looking for ways for them to, I wouldn't say exploit you because that's not the right term, but to do business with you, but on a one-sided kind of like trade. So what can I get out of you, essentially? And this is true in the UK. The second reason for that as well, I believe, is the fact that it's very, very fast-paced here. You can have a conversation about something today, and then that idea is dead and gone tomorrow. People have moved on to other things. There is so much going on out here. There are so many ways that you can make money out here that follow-up can be very, very difficult sometimes. And so what I found is, you have to be very, very selective and very, very discerning around who you decide to give your time to. And you can only do that by kind of gauging personalities when you meet them. I've met a great guy here. We're doing some business at the moment. Really, really down to earth. And you could tell that from the first meeting that I had with him, because he didn't just want to talk about business. He wanted to talk about friendships and all that kind of stuff. And he's just different. And so you've got to be very, very discerning here around who you're going to be putting your energy into, who you're going to be networking with, who you're going to give your time to. Because yes, there are lots of time wasters out here as well. The other thing that I've put on the list is where you can, especially if you're coming here to set up your own business. And by the way, if you are coming to set up your own business, you can get it done in 2 weeks. I've got a link in the description to the video that you can speak to some guys in my team here over here that I partnered with. They can set up in 2 weeks. They'll run through the whole thing. You can just book a free consultation with them. The link is in the description. If you're coming here for business, make sure that if you already have an existing contact list, that you tap into that. Most Brits who have been here for some time want to see other Brits succeed, which leads to my first point around people being very collaborative and being very encouraging. So where you can, tap into your existing network. If you haven't, things like LinkedIn can be a real game changer, and things like Brits in Dubai also can be a game changer for a lot of people as well. I've landed my first client simply because a contact that we met, not last year, 2022 Christmas time, introduced me and gave me an opportunity to speak on a podcast that has led into some business now. So tap into your existing connections where you can. The other thing that I've also written down here, and I've kind of alluded to this already, is you need to be very, very mindful not to let your focus slip. And to be honest, I've kind of fallen into this a little bit, and I've had to rein myself back. There are so many opportunities here, so many ways that you can make money if you explore them. But you have to be very, very mindful that you don't spread yourself too thin. And I fell into that trap for the past maybe 2-3 weeks where I'm like, I'm gonna focus on this big thing because a deal here is life-changing money. And I found myself maybe neglecting a little bit of my core business here. So you've got to be really, really careful. And the division of time, where you spend your energy, like I've already said, is very, very, very important indeed. Okay, so that's the video for this week. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. And look, this has been a little off the cuff, a little bit more chatty than the previous videos on the channel, but I hope you found something useful to help you in your plan to move here. What I will say is this: the upsides of moving here, if you plan this properly and you execute properly, far outweigh any of the downsides, but it is a big move nonetheless. So if I can be of assistance, my Telegram group is open, it's free to join. If I can connect you with someone that I know here, I will absolutely do so. So feel free to join. The link is in the comment section down below. But I think I'm gonna end this on a phrase which has become synonymous with Dubai and moving to Dubai. Habibi, come to Dubai.